All right.
Carly,
Let's get
come
this
on
going.
in.
Come on in.
Hey guys, how
Hey.
you doing?
This is Carly from Mountain Crossings. This is the Backpacker TV live show. Thanks everybody for joining. Carly, I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, we're prepping for season. They're
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
And we're stoked for it. This is our
Yeah.
favorite time of year.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about Mountain Crossings and what the gig is on the Appalachian Trail.
So Mountain Crossings is a really historical place. It was built in 1937, and over the years, about the 80s is when it was converted into a backpacking store. Since then, it's been working as a hostel and a backpacking store, and it's just the first major resupply stop on the Appalachian Trail. Also, the first place that people kind of hit a point where you can kind of relax and take a break and overview things, see how the first couple days went, change some things if you have to, and we do a lot of that. That's the spirit of the Shakedown is, all right, 3 days behind you, how'd it go? Let's keep what worked and ditch what didn't. So that's what we're going to do for Ariane today.
Yep.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go behind the scene, behind the camera, and yeah, so thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
no
you know, Ariane's got some stuff in her pack
Yeah,
to be
I'm
shaken down.
excited.
Okay.
All right. Well, so Carly, how many people typically hike the Appalachian Trail in any given year? Over the past few years.
I know for sure last year the ATC had their registration process. 2,300 people registered in 2016 from Springer or Amicalola. 3,200 altogether, so that includes southbounders and people starting at different points, flip-floppers maybe, Harper's Ferry. We had to see probably well over 3,000 last year, because not everybody registers. You know, we have other folks, maybe section hikers coming out during that time as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people. It's really
That
fun.
is a lot of people. Now, how many of them actually decide they are carrying a little bit too much weight and get a shakedown with you guys?
A fair amount, a large portion, because the AT is definitely the first 3 days are fairly unforgiving if you've got a lot of weight, and it wears down on people quickly. Every now and then we do see people who come in, they've got everything nailed down, they're loving it, they just breeze right through, but a lot of folks have heard of the Shakedown and they go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much, like, historically known for your shakedowns here. And I know there's a lot of myth out there about you guys, but really it's all about educational, and it's all about you guys getting them a little closer to Katahdin. So, well, I obviously am hurting going up those mountains.
Yeah,
It's getting a little bit, and I think I may have actually packed a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So.
You're getting near what I like to call the danger zone, where the pack is nearly above the head. I call that the danger zone. You're a very slightly built woman with a lot of weight on your back right now, so we can fix that.
All right.
Right over here.
Okay. Let's get the shakedown happening.
All right, Ariane. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you unpack your pack, pull everything out, all those hip belt pockets, the brain, anything you've got something stowed in. Go ahead and pop those little guys out there. And what we're gonna do is organize it generally into, say, your sleep system, your tent, your sleeping bag, sleeping pad, all that kind of stuff. Clothes in one section, kitchen setup in another, various sundries and whatnot in another, and we'll get started here.
All right. Well, I have a lot of everything. Now, again, I did overpack this on purpose for educational aspects. You know, so this is not typically how I roll out on the trail, but I will say this is something that we've seen a lot of in the past when we have run across Thru-Hikers. So this is something that we've kind of fudged a little bit to be able to aid in the educational aspect here.
So far, we're looking very typical of most AT hikers starting out.
All right, let's see if I can get this thing rolling. All right.
Yeah. Already seeing some good little nuggets, so we can end up cutting the fat a little bit here and there. Ooh, that was a nice one. That was a real nice one.
Whew. Feels good to get some of this stuff out of here. All right.
Looking good.
I believe I am just about clear.
Awesome. All right. So,
All right.
first off, I'm kind of seeing some personal items here. I got some books here, and all right. So, first thing I see in Ariane's pack, she's got a lot of, little first aid kit here, personal items, definitely things you're going to need along the trail, but right off the bat, I'm seeing an entire stick of deodorant. That is... I'm sure it's nice to smell fragrant, but it'll last all of about 13 seconds before your hiker funk overpowers again. I know in normal society we use this and it's very appreciated, but we're not normal folks here on the Appalachian Trail, and that's one of the beautiful things about it. So I would say automatically, let me pop this guy open. We've got a little box here. We just kind of like to start with a box so we can just chunk things in, as we'd say. And with every shakedown, we say it's free advice you don't have to take. So we'll give you all these suggestions, and it's absolutely not necessary. You can say, bah humbug with all of it, not do it,
So the deodorant's going to go.
Deodorant's going to go. You're going to stink regardless. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just some little tidbits I'll pull aside into another kind of pile here. We can cut weight by just throwing these guys in a little Ziploc bag. So I'm going to put that to the side. We've got, let's see, just this guy, a whole thing of, you could maybe get it in a smaller container, but generally speaking, we're okay without it. We'll make it. If we're really trying, if we're really hurting, really trying to shave weight, there's a lot of places we can go. I see you've got she's got a full toothbrush here. That's definitely something you can cut down on, trim that weight. I know that's kind of like getting a little gram weenie on you, getting a little obnoxious, but not only does it pack better, it will add up in the long run when you're kind of really shoving down on those guys. And most of the other things here were looking pretty good. I do see here as well, we'll kind of repackage those.
Okay.
And be nice.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Overkill. Too big.
There's a lot of bugs out there, guys. But not enough for a big container.
Look, she does have a small one as well. So, that's kind of a dual purpose. You don't want that covered twice. And this is great. It's tiny, it's small, that one's a good one to hold on to. We see a whole thing of Neosporin here. We could definitely shave down on the size of that. It's kind of another thing where, the intention is good, but the application is kind of off. Okay. I would say, we can really slim down on some of these blister packages and things. You've got a whole collection of the millions of the same pads, maybe pull out one. Then we've got like a couple other little guys. And really speaking, we can trim down on a majority of that weight just by taking what we need and dumping what we don't.
Right. Well, especially since there are so many resupplies along the way, perhaps reducing some of the quantity, you can always pick up more along the route as you go.
Yeah,
so.
And that's one of those things that will come in benefit in the long run, just having only what you need and not going overkill.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good advice.
Yeah.
Good
So
advice
we've kind of
for
gone through
listeners.
these guys a little bit.
Yeah.
Lots of toilet paper. If you do need toilet paper, might be a nice thing to be able to just get the smaller rolls of it, depending on how much you want.
That's a lot of bulk right there.
Yeah, very bulky. See, this is something we see a lot of. This guy's got to be £1.5 pounds. Nice little electronic nugget here.
You gotta have communication.
Yep, it's definitely an important thing in our society. See, cell phone here, definitely important to have something, a way to get home, something like that. People take notes, they write blogs and journals on here. Telephone, or these guys also have a nice camera on it, which I also see a nearly half-pound camera in here. So,
all right, so you're thinking maybe one or the other for a long distance hike.
You can get a small, lightweight battery pack to charge this guy on trail that weighs less than your camera and be able to use that as a dual purpose, as a multi-purpose item.
All right.
Multi-purpose, anything we can use in more than one way becomes a really good buddy of ours, A phone, you can use that while you're in town to communicate, all that kind of stuff. That cuts down on our wires. I see we've got a camera charger, a phone charger here. Okay, we'll keep that for the phone. A camera sync wire. Yeah, so we could...
A little bit overkill.
I would say, we can, thankfully, technology
all right, guys,
has helped us.
already
We're
getting
filling
full.
up already, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So we'll put those guys here.
Okay.
Another thing right off. I see her full AWOL guide. The AWOL guide. Very
Gotta
good
know where you're
guidebook,
going, right?
but do you really need to know about Maine right now?
Yeah, I guess not.
We'll worry about that in a couple months when we're up there. So what we do for a lot of folks is we'll say, you know, take these guys, cut it in half, cut it in quarters, you know, kind of strip it down to what you really need and can use sizable chunks. This guy weighs a pound itself. That shaves, you know, 3/4 of a pound if you know, cut this into 4 sections and send it up trail if you've got someone sending you out gear along the way or whatnot. So we'll put that into the pile of adjustment, you know, just kind of.
All right.
These
Like
things
it.
change.
Yep.
A book. A lot of people like to read, you know, this nice, relaxing at camp. After you've walked all day long and worked your butt off and then set up camp and then cooked dinner. How many days have you read this so far?
I'm a few pages in.
Yeah. It's called The Power of Less, too. So Ariane is trying. That's excellent. Trying is very good. But with these books, we see a lot of books come through. If you're using it, if you're reading it, hardcover journals, things like that, if you're writing in it, that's awesome. Do it. You know, if you're really crushing through some books, that's incredible. If you find you're not touching it, if you're tired, if you're just not writing in your journal,
Yeah.
do yourself a favor of ditching it early.
I'm not gonna lie. That's
Power of Less. You know
not
the best
working
thing we can
out
learn
so
from this book?
well for me.
A little less from that book, yeah.
Oh,
If you're
doing
reading it,
so well.
that's great.
All right.
Cool. I'm seeing.
Bye book.
Yeah, have a good time. Bear bang and rope, that's awesome. We've got our poo shovel here, very important. This guy even has your measurements on there, which is really handy for getting that correct L&T depth with proper bearing of waste. That's great. This guy is excellent. A lot of people think, oh, I need the extra weight, and you're like, no, that's for all of our benefit and the love of the Appalachian Trail. Carry that piece of weight.
Yeah, that goes right into leave no trace.
Oh, is this
principles.
headlamp?
Headlamp, extra batteries.
Headlamp, extra batteries. I would say,
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is definitely going to keep it waterproof. Maybe even throwing it in a Ziploc bag like this shaves you a couple more ounces there. So
All right,
that's
good
something that we
advice.
can kind of change just a little bit there. Pack cover, very important. Filtration, definitely need some of that there. Hat and glasses.
Yeah.
Is that sunglasses? Sunglasses, cool. She does have a very lightweight lightweight container for this guy, which is awesome. Sometimes we see some hard cases. This is, if you can find something for glasses or sunglasses that's both lightweight and kind of a hard shell like this is pretty good. I mean, I know I hiked with an extra pair of glasses because if I had broken one pair, I would have been blind.
But I will say that again might be redundancy because I actually haven't used both at the same time, and
Yeah.
it's been sunny
And if
out
this
here
is-
the last several days.
If this is
So-
just sunglasses,
Okay.
then I would say we can really do without sunglasses. If you've got
Okay.
like, you know, if you've got something like a bill of a cap or something, that'll keep the sun out of your eyes for the most part. If you have to carry glasses, prescription glasses, go with a lightweight case like that or something of the sort.
Perfect.
Looks like we've got a stove set up here. Just gonna pop this open.
All
We're,
right.
we're sometimes a little bit invasive with these shakedowns.
Go
we'll
for
just
it.
really get
I've
into
got
everything.
nothing to hide.
So this looks like a really great setup. We see she's got her pot here, cook pot, and it's got a little top for it. And all her fuel, you can see she's got lighter with a little duct tape on it. And this is a great explanation of that's just about all the duct tape we need. She's got just a little bit and nothing more. So this is a great explanation. This is a great explanation of how to like pack really efficiently too. She has put, you know, a little mug and some fuel and just packed this in a really efficient way, and then it goes into a little carrying case.
All right.
When you can do that, when you can use spaces within a cook pot or something like that, it always helps your whole pack just kind of gel more. You've got a feng shui. It's very important to know how to pack your pack and work within your gear that you have and the pack you have and whatnot. How you pack your pack is nearly important as what's going in the pack. So,
All right.
yeah, good stuff here. And we've got this food back here.
Yeah.
This is something we see a lot of. 3 days in, you roll up on your first resupply, and there's still so much food. This guy's got to be like 4 pounds, 5 pounds, who knows?
It's pretty heavy. But there is the fear, obviously, of going hungry when you're out there.
There is.
So, you know, this is something very typically that we typically see is an overpacking of food. It's kind of absurdly heavy.
Food is definitely an important thing while on trail. Food is energy. Energy is how you get up and down these mountains. So it is important to pack nutritious foods that are going to give you that energy, but don't go overkill with it. You know, if you've portioned out your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and several snacks for the day, you're fine, you know, and if you've chosen those more lightweight items, then you're really helping yourself out.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of heavier packed stuff in here. I could go a lot more lightweight with my food, and I'm at a resupply, so I shouldn't be probably at this capacity at this point. So,
and planning ahead a little bit is always helps. If you have an extra meal sitting in your food bag, that just if you say, okay, it's gonna take me 3 days, if it takes me 3.5, I got that extra meal just in case. But having much more than that, you never want to be rolling into town, you know, with this much food. You know, that being said, we could always go through that. But right now, we'll skip on to sleeping bag. I like the size of this guy.
yay!
Lightweight, compact.
Yep.
That looks like it's packed really well. What degree are we working with here?
That is a 20.
A 20 degree.
Yeah.
All right. So very good for this time of year. 20 degree, 15 degree. You're going to be nice and warm in that. So you've got a down jacket on. If you're really chilly, you can always wear the down jacket while you're sleeping. I also see a bag liner here, and this is the Thermalite. This guy is the Plus, too. This is the Reactor Plus Thermalite. This is a bag liner. What that is just a kind of a miniature sleeping bag, just a sheet in the shape of a sleeping bag that you slip into in your sleeping bag. This being a 20 degree, and this guy being like plus, what is he, 10, 15 degrees?
15, yeah.
You might be a little overkill. Have you had any nights you've been out recently where you've just been like so frigid you've been using this guy?
No, usually I'm shedding layers. Yeah.
So this is one of those things that, well-intentioned to start out with, but in reality we've realized a couple days in, we're not using it. So that's a good rule of thumb. If you haven't touched it by the time you've gotten 3 days in to mountain crossings, it's a great place to ship her home. So we'll send that guy home because you've been warm enough in this guy, which is great. Is this like your ground cloth? And
yes. So, well, this right here is just a grip because I'm sliding off my bag a lot. It doesn't weigh too much extra, but I'm sourcing that.
We got a nice sleeping pad here. Yeah, that's a good little guy. Packs down real small.
And again.
But this little guy, not so little I should say. Yeah, 2-person.
Yeah.
RI Half Dome, 2-person, awesome tent. Not for backpacking, at least for 1 person.
Yeah, it weighs all of 5 pounds, I believe.
Yeah, it might be on here somewhere. Who knows what, yeah, so this guy is, you know, we see a fair amount of folks who have owned gear in the past, and of course you don't want to break the bank trying to, you know, replace things you already have, but every now and then you have a product like this, a piece of gear that you're really, in the long run, going to benefit from having a lighter weight tent. The Big Agnes, a lot of their series, lightweight backpacking tents, it is a large investment, but you're cutting this in half, if not more.
Yeah, I'm having a really hard time packing this inside here with the rest of my stuff.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't pack well when wet. I'm adding extra pounds. So
Yeah.
that might be something I want to consider before I get even further out.
Definitely, definitely this would be the first, if you were looking to invest money to lighten your load substantially, this would be the first place I would look as a new tent. A lighter weight, more backpacking oriented. This is an awesome, you know, car camping tent. Small, lightweight, throw it around, but maybe not. So we'll kind of put this in the pile of maybe we'll work on
Suggestibles.
Yeah, suggestions of different things there. All right,
And then we have a question, I believe.
Yeah, let's do a quick Q&A. Sammy White wants to know, please go through the food bag. That's my main thing. I'd love to see what you have packed.
Yeah. We'll make some.
Joe Chambers, when you guys were talking about the deodorant, he said, embrace the stink.
Yep.
Floyd
Way to
says,
go,
go small or go home. Tanya said, as far as the toilet paper goes, take the cardboard out of the roll of the toilet paper.
That would definitely help
You
it
know,
compress,
just a-
because look, we've got all that space there that's, you know, the tube is holding it.
Yep. Good advice.
Yeah.
You could carry more and
yeah.
All right.
Kenya also said, yeah, my tent is 4.5 pounds. That's heavy.
All right, so
food bag.
and there we go, guys. I don't know if you can see this, but here we go.
Right off, we've got some hiker favorites: Alpine Air, ooh, chicken gumbo. That sounds good. And the Idahoans, very popular lightweight meals. Oh, they're good to go. These guys are
Great
super
company.
awesome. But yeah, I see some fresh fruit is awesome. Like the day you're walking out of town, if you could bring one piece and eat it that day, great. Rolling into town, still having your like nice, juicy, heavy apple. We want to avoid that guy. Yeah, and it looks like she's mostly dealing with. She's got some mixed drinks. You know, it looks like maybe she purchased like a whole box of these maybe and just brought all of them.
Threw the whole box in.
Hiker boxes,
You know?
guys, or share them with your friends. If you can just like, all right, I'm gonna be out 4 days. I'm gonna wake up 4 mornings and want that. I'll bring 5 maybe just in case, and then toss the rest of them. You don't
Or
want to be
half
carrying
a
that.
pack, you know. Just have half a cup, and then so that lasts you 2 days. So that's a great option.
Yeah, definitely. She's got some condiments and things. There are some people out there that are absolute master trail chefs. I'm not one of them, so
I'm not either.
you know, I'm not the kind of person that can like really bring all these glorious tastes out. I just mix my ramen and my mashed potatoes and call it a ramen bomb and get on with my life.
We like that. So I mean, I've got some bulk here, obviously, that I don't need to be carrying.
Repackaging items, like this guy,
Right.
he could be repackaged a lot smaller, lighter.
I've got an entire thing. So I'm not condensing the weight here. Sandwiches.
This is a little interesting. We could definitely, unfortunately, everything gets crushed. And every chip gets broken, and all your bread gets stuck together, but it still tastes the same.
Alright, so what are we looking at ditching from this pile
I
here?
would say, out with the, you know, maybe we'll put your bread in a Ziploc, but,
chunk the apple.
yeah,
Okay.
you know, if you can find dried fruit, excellent remedy for that. I would say we'll definitely cut down on the amount of these guys, so we'll put that in the suggestion pile. Rolling in with, she's got nearly 3 dinners left. She could be out for, you know, if she just brought this alone, this is, you know, 2 days worth of meals almost. Just cutting down on your amount. Got a couple tuna packets.
Yeah.
You know,
We've got a lot of bulk here. So, alright.
yeah,
so that's
we'll
going
cut down
on.
on things like that.
Okay. And it looks like we have another question.
So how many days of food typically should Appalachian Trail Thru-Hiker be packing for?
That is when this guy comes in handy, or whatever guidebook you're using. I always like to carry, you know, every town stop you get to, sit for a moment, plan for a while, and then go do your resupply. If you're like, alright, I have 38 miles. Say if someone started Amicalola, from Amicalola to here, it's 38 miles. That's what I would extrapolate to 4 days worth of food. And when you're starting out, 10 miles is about your average. As you get going, you kind of fall into your own pace and you can tailor this strategy. But carrying a day's worth of food for every 10 miles is roughly what we suggest. So if you're starting at Springer, I would bring 3 days, 2 mountain crossings, that's 30 miles. If you're starting at Amicalola, tack on that extra 8.8 miles, and you know, you've got another day's worth of food. I like to carry just something even just tiny, like, you know, an Idahoan, and have this as an emergency backup that nearly always kind of hangs out in my food bag just in case there's a super rainy, terrible day and I don't want to hike.
Right.
I've got an extra
And
meal.
that's super lightweight as well.
Very
so
lightweight, really tiny,
easy to pack.
you know, or even just a ramen or something. So that's what I would say. Per 10 miles when you're starting out, consider that a day of food.
Okay. Alright. Perfect.
All
Alright, so there goes the food.
Yeah, let's move on to clothes now. I see, that's the one thing we haven't touched on, and I see 2 bags of clothes here, Ariane.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll dump out one here.
In all fairness,
We're
maybe
super
we should
organized
dump
around
this
here.
out.
We'll just dump and shove. And first of all, I see this is an awesome waterproof bag, but it's more so designed to be thrown around a raft or a kayak or tumble down a river, not to be carried on the Appalachian Trail. Very hardy, but you see here she's got another one that's very lightweight. Just as waterproof, or rather, you know, don't necessarily want to submerge this guy, but for being within your pack, it's fine. So, guys, I would go for focus on these lighter, sil nylon waterproof bags versus these heavier kind of vinyl bags like that. So, let's maybe, hopefully, we can cut down on some of this, and we'll just say send this guy home.
Okay.
So that's our plan. Is let's fit everything in one bag.
All right.
We got a little beanie. That's real nice. I see a glove, and I'm sure he's got
He has a partner.
Yeah, there he is. I was gonna say she's got rain pants and a rain jacket. Rain gear is definitely important on the East Coast here. We see a lot of that. Is this a pair of pants or?
And it is an overshirt.
Shirt. Couple pairs of socks, and then the one you've got on, correct?
Yes.
So we've got a long pair and a short pair.
And I have a short pair on.
You've got a short pair. I would say let's ditch this other short pair, guys. You really don't want to go overboard switching out your socks every day or denoting one pair that you hike in and then having a pair to sleep in. And then when those hiking pair, if that starts getting wearing down on you, giving you blisters, giving you hot spots, switch in this clean pair.
Okay.
So let's just stick to two. I think that'll kind of narrow us down a little bit.
Right, I'm gonna stink.
Shirt.
I learned that in the beginning.
Yeah, you gotta stink. It's gonna happen. Another shirt here.
As well as my long sleeve
We see this
shirt I
happen
have.
sometimes. You think you've packed something or you didn't and you need to pick it up real quick, or you've double packed. Looks like Ariane having two clothes bags. I'm not surprised, but we've got two hats. So
I like my beanies.
I don't know, it depends on which one you like more, but we'll chunk one. I'm kind of a fan of this color, so I'm gonna say let's keep that one. You can change if you want.
Alright.
So you've got those hiking pants, these hiking pants,
Yep.
and her rain pants. For the sake of making life easy and lighter weight, I would say one pair of hiking pants and your pair of rain pants. Let's ditch these guys. If you really need to, if these are dirty or ripped or whatever, you have those rain pants. You've got that extra pair. If you're doing laundry, rain gear is great laundry day clothes.
Alright.
So just don't that's 3 pairs of pants. 2 is enough. We are good to go.
Good advice.
Alright, got a little sports bra there and some t-shirts and t-shirts and t-shirts.
Now, I will say, though, I've got a little bit excess here.
So
Lots
that's
of
a long
tops.
sleeve. This is a tank top. This is a short sleeve. And are these cotton shirts, guys? Great thing to avoid. Super comfortable, really awesome. But if that gets wet, it's gonna stay wet. It's gonna be heavy, and it's just not gonna be great. Seeing as how this is cotton as well, we'll ditch that guy. And now we're down to a kind of sweaterish shirt. Is this
I'm
cotton
sleeping
too?
in that, yeah.
Okay, so this is like a pant for sleeping in.
Yeah.
We can.
Since I'm losing pants over here rapidly.
Yeah. So she's got a nice, like, mid-layered. She's got her warm layer.
And I think at this point, we have reduced it into one pack. So that's
And
perfect,
then
you
another.
guys.
There we go. This is all will fit in one. And this would be an item that I would say if you're sleeping in it, everyone deserves a luxury item, and I have taken away one of your pairs of pants already. I would suggest this goes out.
It's going.
And always, guys, anything we suggest, you can always say, no, I need it. But just know it's on your back. You're the one carrying it.
So at this point, this is my take-home to-go box. We're going to need a bigger box to ship on.
Yeah.
So, no, this has been completely valuable to me and other hikers that are hiking the Appalachian Trail or any long-distance trail for that matter. You have given such sound and incredible advice, and it looks like I need to reassess my packing skills. So, at this point, thank you so much for that information, because this is something that everybody needs to learn and hear. And really go through their pack and think really strongly about, am I Am I multi-using my gear? Am I bringing two of something that I can ditch? So this is great. Let's take some questions, you guys.
Yeah, one wants to know, does a hammock work to lower the weight and use it instead of a tent?
It definitely depends on the hammock and your setup. A hammock requires the hammock itself, a rain fly to go over the top. Most people will use an underquilt, which is kind of like a sleeping bag that goes under the hammock itself to help protect you from the cold air around you. A lot of people will even use a sleeping bag inside of a hammock. So it can, it really depends on the tent that you're looking at and the hammock you're looking at. And how lightweight those guys are. But sometimes, in general, you're looking nearly the same weight for some of those guys.
And Sammy White wants to know,
Hi, Sammy.
Or I'm sorry, Floyd wants to know, what's your take on Gore-Tex?
Oh, Gore-Tex is an excellent waterproofing material. Many rain jackets, and this is just kind of a fact of life, is any sort of waterproof material, they say that they're very, very breathable, but not nearly as breathable as what we're used to, as our cotton t-shirt, as our fleece, you know. So you will have a lot of body heat buildup. You'll sweat inside regardless. Many times I look at my own rain gear as, if it's cold, I'm wearing the rain gear. If it's not cold, I'm getting a free shower. That's
good advice. Good advice.
Really, another thing that we want to go over here at Mountain Crossings that we kind of focus on, just because we are in the beginning of the Appalachian Trail, and we're trying to start good practices for everybody as they go north. Bear bagging in Georgia, you have all of your cables, but as soon as you head into North Carolina, you will need these items, and it's good to practice setting up a bear cable to hang your food. Very important along the trail. Also, as we noted before, your poo shovels, very important to be able to know how to bury your waste properly. Right. That's part of a Leave No Trace. We really like to push Leave No Trace here just because it's very important. We love the Appalachian Trail. It's literally our back door. And you will love it too as soon as you're out here. I mean, it's just an incredible place, and we want to keep it that way. It's up to all of us individually as the hikers out here. You know, and I mean, sometimes you feel like you're getting harped on, but once you kind of like sit back and realize that this is our place and that we all own it.
Absolutely.
We got to take care of it. Like, you're just like, all right, that's cool. I'll do it. I'll do my part because I love this place. Yeah. Very important.
All right. Cool. Do we have any other questions coming in?
Just one more from Marsha. She wants to know ponchos versus rain pants and jacket. Which works best?
That's really definitely a personal kind of setup there. Some people love the backpacking poncho because it takes the place of even your pack cover. You can just throw it over you, your pack, everything. A little bit more breathable for sure. I prefer the rain jacket and rain pants setup because then if it becomes summertime, I can ditch those rain pants if I don't want to carry them anymore and just go with the rain jacket. But yeah.
All right. So, perfect.
Cool.
So,
well, thanks so much, guys,
absolutely.
for coming up to Mountain Crossings. We will ship this out for Ariane. And
back home.
Yeah, it's going back home. We got a lighter load here.
All right. No, thank you so much. So thanks for tuning in, for all of you and any of those questions that we may have not gotten to. We appreciate you tuning in to us. And this is our Shakedown. So Mountain Crossings, 31.7 miles, I believe, precisely on the beginning of the AT. You do pass this. Come when you stop in, say hello. They're wonderful outfitters here and extremely educational. So hit them up on your trek north. So thank you again so much. That's a wrap. Bye.